Emergency. Queen's Quest arrived. Emergency. Queen's Quest arrived. Emergency. Queen's Quest
Down to the queens.
Hello, ladies, gentlemen, and everybody inside and outside of the gender spectrum, and welcome back to Stardom Quest, the best weekly Stardom and Marigold podcast anywhere in the world. I am, as always, Alex, and I am joined by Dylan. Hi, Dylan.
Hi, Alex. Hi, everybody. You should probably start putting Stardom Quest gold. You should probably put the gold in, since it's like in every week like now. But
Yes.
I digress. Happy Pride Month, everybody. Welcome to Stardom Quest. I actually watched Stardom this week for the most part. Excuse me. Including the Osaka show, which I don't think we're even talking about, so I didn't need to. But yeah.
Well, I hope you had fun with the Osaka show. I haven't seen it. I had skipped over it. But I saw the Korakuen.
Since we're here real quick, Konami Shuri versus Aya and Karara, good. Wing Gory
Sounds
versus Crazy
good.
Star, good. Those
Shit,
are
I
the two
forgot about
matches
that. Yeah, I'll have to go back.
I would
I'll have to go
recommend.
back and see that. Okay. Well, this show is brought to you by the 5-Star Network. Head on over to the 5starnetwork.co for all the great articles and podcasts from the wonderful world of wrestling. Head on over to the 5-Star Network YouTube channel, which also has content. There was a draft. It was a fun draft. Dylan has sadly lost the draft, so he's going to have to do the forfeit. But the draft was fun, honestly. I was there live. Scott was there. Eternal and Pedro were there, and it was just fun. We were just having a good time, and you guys had some really fun picks. So it was a really fun draft. So if you haven't checked that out, check it out. And if you leave
Y'all
comments,
actually let me down.
Yeah, you have the propaganda, and you couldn't get it done.
It's insane. Well, no, because like I'm not, for anybody who doesn't know, this means I have to watch Britt Baker matches, which isn't fun. I actually looked. Her run was only 3 matches, so I might just watch all 3 just to make it worse for myself, because I'm a bit of a masochist sometimes.
Mhm.
So that's gonna be a thing over on the No Limit Wrestling show. The next episode, I'm gonna have to review those matches. Yeah. How did I not win? I had Arisa and Akira Hokuto. Like that felt like it was like okay.
Your team was
Anything
crap.
from here is like anything from here is fine.
I think Iger killed it. I won't lie.
See, you gotta go with a oddball pick for your
Yeah, but
Missy
there's so
relevant.
many better ones than Iger.
Yeah, but
I love
I had to
Iger,
be a
but
fuckfucker.
I don't know. But
It's funny because like there are a lot of wrestlers that you forget have won a world title or like a top title.
yeah.
Because like that would have been a perfect spot for a Shark Tsuchiya, who's
Mhm.
like not good, but like I like her, but she's won the FMW belt, or like Hirota. Hirota would have been the
Yes,
perfect
Hirota, Wave Champ,
draft
sadly.
pick, but
So
she just won the Wave belt a couple years
mhm.
ago. So, um, yeah,
Harley
it is
Saito
what
as
it
well
is.
somehow won a world title, which I
That
was really
that's
surprised by.
something that I did not. LLPW, despite just being a Shinobu Kandori produce show that ran for like 20, 30 years, um, apparently other people won belts there, which
I'm
is
shocked,
news to me.
quite frankly. But yeah, you lost, so pretty sad. But it was a fun draft, so check it out.
Yeah,
And
yeah, go
if
check it out.
you watch this on YouTube and you comment, I do try and respond to the comments and stuff. So you know, good times. There is no news from Stardom as far as I'm aware this week. Their news tab on the website doesn't have anything that jumps out to me, so I think we can safely just get into the review portion of the show.
Hmm.
Well, actually, I guess this would have come up anyway, but they did announce that Suzu Suzuki is injured and she's going to miss
Yes,
2 months. I think they're just resting her until the GP, which is a
they are.
semi-common strategy. They do this at least once a year with somebody. Um, yeah, that's a big loss because she's, her and May have been great as Crazy Star, kind of on the house shows and as a tag team. Suzu is obviously really talented. She's somebody who it appeared was going to be pulled into this, kid faction choice thing. Maybe Azumi leaving Queen's Quest that's been teased. It felt like a place that Suzu could maybe slot in and finally get a faction, and now she's gone. So it's a bit shit for everybody. But hopefully she heals up and she has a
Con-
killer GP.
Considering it sounds like it's like a general thing, I could see her showing up to do like promos for every once in a while for these sorts of things, um,
Mm.
if needed. You know what I
It'll
mean?
just
Like
hurt
if
it, I think, in the ring, not having
yeah, oh,
a full
definitely.
squad to do the matches for the first
Yeah.
impression. But that's fine. Um, yeah, let's see. The first show to review was on May 31st. This was Stardom in Sendai 2024. Um, there was a show on the 28th. We did do that though, did we? Because the 28th was a
28th was
long time
okay.
ago.
So the thing that happened on the 28th was that excuse me, was that OED said, "Hey, we're going to challenge at the Korakuen," and that's what happened a couple days ago. And also, FWZ reverse nominated Wingori after they beat Crazy Star. So that's a title
Mm.
match that's going to be happening at some point. But I don't know if you know this. They don't announce cards, so that could be happening this weekend or
I
next month.
suspect
We
it
don't really know.
is. I would suspect that's the Nagoya pay-per-view seller
I would hope.
to, get
I would indeed hope.
people to part with their money. I think the full focus should be on the Korakuen. So Sendai show. It opened with Hanako beating Rian. This was in the Sendai pit, by the way, in front of 240 people. And it opened with Hanako beating Rian in 7 minutes with a JP coaster. I didn't
Considering
watch a lot of
Rian's
the
coming
early
off an
stuff,
injury,
so
so
it's good.
since Rian's coming off an injury, and this was 7 minutes, I expected it to be very bad. It wasn't. It was just like eh, which is good for
Okay.
Rian, who didn't show much before her injury, and then got injured, and it's like, oh, she's probably gonna be really bad when she comes back. She wasn't. She was pretty good. She's still bland, but she has the fundies to be a competent rookie
For
for now.
fundies. Yeah, I like it. We then had Koguma Saida and Momokogo beating Amisori, Sakikashima, and Rana Yagami. Saida pinned Rana with a lariat in 11 minutes, which sounds hype. I cannot lie, but I didn't watch this either.
It was pretty fun. I had fun with it.
Okay.
Um, so Rana and Koguma have been doing this like Kuma pose thing, and basically Shuri was the second in this match, and she did not allow Rana to do the pose. She was yelling at her, "Don't you fucking dare do the fucking Kuma pose! You got," she was yelling.
Mm-hmm.
So Rana was like, "I'm not gonna do it," and then Kokuma was like, "You fucking." She actually says, "You are very dumb." Like she called her a baka, and then she started
Oh my
beating the fuck
god.
out of her. And then Stars did a forced triple Kuma pose. On all three members of GE
Okay.
that they were wrestling against. Saya's Kuma pose is very funny because she just like punches into them, like
It's
she
like a
like
noogie,
squeeze, like it's like
a double
yeah,
one.
she gives a full on nugget. It was
Yeah.
very funny. And then the rest of this was like pretty good. It was a bit long, but it was a good match.
Okay. Sounds good.
This show didn't have many good matches, and this was one of them. I'll say that.
All right. That's why I only jumped in for what I thought was important. Um, then had Mina Shirakawa, Xena, and Waka Tsukiyama beating Azumi, Lady C, and Miyu Amasaki. Xena got the win for her team over Lady C in 9.5 minutes with Thunderstruck. This continued their build up of Xena. They've been very overt in giving her a lot of wins recently, which is one of the few things they've been building up on the house shows. I will give them credit for the Xena thing. I know a lot of people were like surprised at the Corkin when she challenged, and I was just sat there going, yeah, they've pushed her. Like, I would do like, what else are they gonna do? So, yeah, they gave her another win here. Yeah, was this good? It looks like it might have been fun.
No,
No, okay,
it
that's
wasn't
pretty
very
sad.
good. The issue was that Lady C and Waka were in the ring
That's crazy.
for like all of the entire match. Like I mean, there was like a
Why?
brief period where it was Mina and Azumi, but that was
Mhm.
legit like 15 seconds, and then I think Azumi tagged
Right.
out to Lady C. You know what I mean? And Lady C's, the Lady C and Waka can both be good, but like it just didn't
Doesn't sound
hit
good.
here.
Yeah, no,
Xena was
I'm
chopping the fuck out of Lady C though, and Lady C was
Xena's
trying to
nuts.
chop Xena back. I respected that.
All right. Our next match was the mismatched team of Siri, Mei Sarah, and Starlight Kid. Yuna Mizumori, Aya Sakura, and Sayaka Kurara. May Sarah got the win for her team over Unimon in 11 and a half minutes with a shooting star. Um, the vibes of Suri, May, and Kid is interesting. I think Suri being with the two overly energetic children is a really fun dynamic. And I was like, let's get this to God's Eye. Let's give God's Eye some life. But then God's Eye would have about 8 members. So you cannot do that, sadly. But I do think there's some fun energy that they could have do if they were in a faction together. The match itself, I enjoyed. Maysara and Unimon went crazy down the stretch, and I was
Yes.
really impressed with Aya Sakura. I think she's been really good, a real kind of highlight of the show. Is you see her like just improving in front of your eyes, and she's really trying her best.
That
So
was the big thing
I thought there was a lot.
opposite Sharon Konami in Osaka. It was Ayasakura was really just like sparring and really like
Yeah.
up to the task there, and I thought she did the same here. Um, yeah, Carrara speared Mace Sarah out of her boots. That was pretty sick.
Hmm.
And yeah, I thought this match was quite fun. I do like the pairing. It felt like Shuri. Um, Interestingly enough, I feel like Shuri works best opposite, like with young wrestlers, as
Hmm.
a team, um, or just like smaller wrestlers, like high speed wrestlers, even. Because you look at like Shuri and Natsupoi back in the day in DDM was always a very fun team for them to run,
Yeah.
um, and I think that kind of translated here. I think maybe that's one thing that's missing from God's Eye is that it feels like it's um, a bit across the board in
Mm.
the dynamic. Outside of Saki Kashima, who's a complete radical different. But I think that might be what kind of hurts God's Eyes. It feels very surface level, I guess, in the dynamic where it's like, oh, Shuri and Konami train together, and Shuri and Ami also train together, and
That's it.
that's God's Eye.
Yeah.
And Shaki Kashima refuses to train. That's where the little dynamic goes. But with this, it's like you even see the post match promo where Sherry's like, "Oh, the two of you, you guys are gonna come train with me again, yeah?" Because Kid trained with Shuri last week, and Kid's like, "I would rather not do that. We just wrestled." And Sherry's like, "Yeah, but we're gonna go train. Let's go to the dojo." She's like, Is the dojo open? Do we have to?" And Sherry's like, "Yep, we're going train." And I thought that was like
It's
a
like we
funny, like it just all
Somebody
worked.
should have been like, "We are in Sendai. The dojo is back home.
Yeah,
Where do you expect
yeah,
us to
sure.
go?"
But Sherry's like, nope, we're training. We're
That's
training.
crazy. That's so funny. I
Uh,
love Siri.
but yeah, I thought that the dynamic did really benefit them, and it was a really fun thing to see.
Definitely. This was the one of the second last groups Kid had to team with before she made her decision, which she didn't make yet, by the way, even though she said she might. But yeah, this was one of
She
the
said,
last
"We'll talk about it."
gauntlets in the thingy. But yeah, that was a fun match. Our next match was the Uedo Tai team of Natsuko Tora, Momo Watanabe, and Rina, beating Maika, Sayakamitani, and Hina. Tora got the win for her team in 12 minutes with a swanton bomb on Hina. Um, I thought Momo and Saya went crazy for parts of this match. I really enjoyed Hina actually. I thought Hina had a good showing
Yeah,
here and on the Karkin. I thought she was pretty useful. And yeah, Tora just kind of beat the crap out of her for the finish. But I enjoyed this for what it was.
yeah. It's happy to see the twins. I feel like I don't really see them much because, like, if you don't watch literally every match on the house shows, on top of them just not being around much, like in general, you could just like not see them for a long time. Like
Yeah.
at a time. So I this was a match that I kind of locked into and I watched. I didn't really like it that much, frankly. I
Okay.
do agree that there was some cool stuff. I think Sai and Micah was an interesting team. They did some cool combos together, and I think Hina did well as well. I think Natsuko is in weird form recently.
Hmm.
Because even when she is tasked with like wrestling, it still feels like she just isn't doing that really. Um, so yeah, it was a bit, it wasn't bad, but like by any means, I thought it was a fine match. But
Yeah.
there are some weird things about it. Like I said, I'm happy to see the twins in action. I'm happy to see Hina continue to do well in ring because she's always the one in question where it's like, oh, is she just
Yeah.
gonna like retire? Because like she's just like, who cares? Because she has other shit. So you kind of hope for her to kind of develop more, and she is as of now. So I'm happy to see that.
That's fair. The kind of main takeaway is that Tora challenged Micah after this match. She legitimately, in the backstage promo, said, "I want the world title." So Xena getting the challenge instead is interesting. But also, Momo whispered into Saya Kamatani's ear, which comes after Saya wanted Momo to join Queen's Quest. So they're really teasing out this Momo Saya thing, which scares me so much. um, so I don't know. There's a lot of intrigue here about the future directions. I feel like we're not that far away from Oedo Tai winning one of the belts. They are too involved in the title pictures for me to not see an Oedo Tai win soon.
Yeah, I'm
But
growing
I don't know.
concerned.
Tora feels like a fodder one for Micah. She is kind of that summertime challenger, I guess, if that's how they wanted to do it. So I don't know, quite frankly. But
Momo
uh,
Momo had some careless whispers for an old friend, and I was going to start singing the entire song because it's a very good song,
please don't.
but I'm not going to. Um, yeah, I'm growing concerned about
Yeah,
many things when it comes to Oedo Tai. Like I'm looking at
there
it
seems to be a
objectively.
general.
Okay, maybe not objectively, but like generally, the best case scenario for all parties involved is Momo rejoins QQ and O2
Mhm.
line leaves. That is the best that we can get,
Yeah.
which is not good.
Well,
Because like
it depends, but I think
I mean maybe.
people seem to have decided Queen's Quest is dying. I saw Pep's tweet about it, and I was like, "Are we sure we want Queen's Quest to die? Are we sure Queen's Quest is actually dying? First of all, and second of all, are we sure that's good?" um, because I've never got the sense that Queen's Quest is going to go away from this. It's just that it's going to change significantly. But at the same time, I would not put it past them to have a way to tie kill Queen's Quest. Um, because that's kind of what Natsuko Tora said she would do in her post match comments. But she said that about 20 times now, so I don't know.
Yeah, I mean
Um,
Queen's Quest has been on the verge of dying, most years. Like if
every
we're
like
being honest.
yeah, every May they kind of go, all right, I think it's time to to tease a Queen's Quest death again. So who's
Yeah,
to say?
I don't know, it is interesting because it's possible they just like reform it.
Mm.
Um
I think
I'm
it's an
looking at it
easy
like
one
this.
to
If Queen
get if Saya and Momo are like centered in it because they can just be we're the best wrestlers. I think it's really easy.
Yeah, no, I
Um,
would I would prefer that to most options here. Um, but like I am looking at like I don't know, I feel like Lady C might be God's Eye bound because she's been really playing up her uh I don't know appreciation for Shuri, and like her and Ami are already a team, so that could be a thing. I don't know
yeah.
what would happen with like Ahina, but like it's interesting. I don't know. I never want one of the big 3 factions to die outright.
Yeah.
The closest I came was when Oedo Tai had to, shift completely because they lost every single good member of the group.
Oh,
Um,
right. Okay.
that was a bit
That's
rough.
so
Not
okay.
literally.
Yeah.
No, Natsuko was good. Natsuko was good. I'm just joshing. Uh, but yeah, I don't
Joshi.
know. It's I'm joshing. Yeah. No.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, I don't know. I'm concerned about that because again, I feel like Momo back to Queen's Quest. Even she said it like in her recent interview. She was like, "It seems like they're fucking desperate as hell." Uh, so they came, knocking to me. It almost seems like Queen's Quest sucks ass, but no comment. I was like, okay, but you just commented before you said no comment. So like, I don't, like, I don't know what you want from me to take from this Momo. But yeah, little concerning, just a tad.
Yeah. No, that's fair. We'll ponder more on that though in the future, I'm sure. The main event of
Mm,
this show was Shiori Ano, Tam Nakano, and Natsupoi beating Mayu Iwatani, Hazuki, and Hanan. And Natsupoi got the win for her team in 11 and a half minutes with a fairy blink over Hanan. This was great. I thought this was fantastic.
very
Mayu
good.
and Tam went crazy. Hazuki and Ano again went off the rails. And then obviously Natsuko and Hanan is fantastic. Like this was a great match. Like this if there was no Marigold, people would have been salivating over this. Like absolutely salivating over this match
I
because it
think
was that good.
Hanan is fascinating because like she's just very good all the time now.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I was watching this and I was like, oh, Ano and Hanan is a really good pairing still. I was like, yeah,
Mhm.
that's how match is good, but this is a good pairing. Then it was like, oh yeah, Hanan and Natsuko is Hanan's just really good. Like, you know what I mean? Like it almost like doesn't catch you by surprise. I've always been a big Hanan fan, but like the fact that she's just so easy to center and she lives up to it every time, um, is impressive. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I continue to be impressed with her every time I watch her. Same with Hazuki. I mean, I say it all the time. Hazuki's, uh, right next to Mayu is just like straight up the best wrestler in the company. Um, just generally speaking. And sometimes that shows on house shows, sometimes it doesn't. This time it did. And yeah, I was kind of happy that Mayu and Tam did their stuff opening, so they didn't get in the way later down the stretch, because that used to happen a lot in Cosmic Angel Stars matches, where it was like, okay, nothing matters until Tam and Mayu get their exchange. So just wait for that to happen because like there's gonna kind of wrestle around, do some stuff, and then that'll happen, and
Yeah.
that'll be when it. They didn't do that. They gave all the good stuff. They started off hot with that, and then they didn't get too in the way later down the stretch. They did some good stuff. Tam got Hazuki with a crazy spin kick that just like straight up. I don't know if I saw Hazuki any longer, like physically active in the match. It was sick.
Hazuki is
So yeah,
dead.
I enjoyed it.
Someone help
Yeah,
her.
that's actually why Hazuki decided to stiff Momokogo the next day.
Hell
She was
yeah.
like, "Man, this motherfucker Tam decided to, fuck, man. Oh, I'm gonna kill," and then
Um,
she killed her trainee.
w- would it be total blaspheme to say that Tam has been downcycled for long enough that that I would be happy if they were to push her back up towards the end of the year?
I
Because
mean,
I
they
feel like the
will.
Tam fatigue has settled a little bit. She hasn't been all over the place. It's been
Oh yeah, no,
very
I mean
low key for
certainly.
the past few months, which is what we said last year. Was like, okay, this is too much Tam. There's been no downtime for Tam, but since her injury, she's
She's
kind of been
finally
out of the
gotten it, yeah.
picture, and I think it's helped
Which
her
is
because now she's doing cool shit, and I'm like, oh, this is great.
yeah,
Let's go. So. Yeah, I mean, Tam's obviously a favorite for the GP in my eyes, but I don't think I would be
definitely.
upset if she did it because
I
she has
was
been kind of under the radar all year.
I was talking with Scott yesterday about the GP and like that's also something that's interesting to kind of look at very briefly. With 11 dates, 11 non-final dates, so 12 dates altogether, um, it would be almost impossible to do 2 blocks of 10.
Yeah,
So, like,
blocks. Are
do
we going for?
that might be it. Because but then if we do like 4 blocks of 4, then you're leaving out hella people. Like, and
I don't know, not anymore.
not just like the Idas that you want in there, but like either Konami or Tekla is not capable of being in it with every other like name that
I think you
reasonably would
maybe
be.
are pushing that a small bit. I
I
think you could get
I
them in.
wrote out the names and I
Oh,
was like,
really?
"Oh yeah,
Okay.
there's no way that we do this." I mean, like you'd have to either get rid of like a Xena or a like even like again, leaving out the people who
Oh,
were out last year, putting in a May Sarah, like that's somebody that I would
mm.
think they would want in there. They've been kind of
Well,
giving
they
her
could do
some
4
some
blocks of
shine.
5, couldn't they? They work with
Ye-
outsiders now too. They could get somebody to.
that's the thing is once you get to 4 blocks of 5 it becomes scheduling wise. But that
Ah,
realistically
yes.
would make the
Okay.
most sense. Because like 4 blocks of 6 is undoable with the schedule, as far
Yeah.
as I'm aware. Which 4 blocks of 6, if they were going to do a 4 block system, that would probably be like, in my opinion, that would be what I would kind of want. Um, 5 is just kind of messy because it's an odd number. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's
Okay.
it's an interesting thing to kind of look at, for me at
Yes.
least.
I haven't thought through the ramifications yet, but
Well,
uh,
that's coming up real quick. That's
it
why I'm
is,
like,
yeah. Because
like we only
August,
have like.
August is
Go ahead.
soon. And because I
When
keep
you think
forgetting,
about it,
I'm like going to All In August, and I keep going, oh, that's so far away, and then I'm like, oh no, it's like 2 months.
this fucking me going to Chicago this upcoming week. I was like, June's forever away, and then I was like, oh, I need to buy a ticket,
Yeah.
like yesterday. But yeah, I mean, when you think about it, we do weekly episodes. We only have like 7 episodes until we need to like heavily focus on the 5 star, because 5 star starts in
12.
August, or is it late August, or is it early August?
It's middle August, I think.
Then yeah, we only
Maybe.
have 8 episodes, maybe, like
Oh
that's
boy.
being a bit generous. Uh, so yeah, I'm kind of looking at that, and also the 5 star is kind of, uh, you know, I hate to say it, but vibe wise, it's kind of a make or break for Stardom. With Marigold in existence, uh, this is kind of the first year that it is like possible that the 5 star isn't great. Because every other year it's like pretty much since 2020 was rough, but it's been at least very good. Uh, this year's the first time where I'm like, oh, it might not be, because like things might be weird. We'll see how you know a 5 star with no Rossi booking it, uh, with a novice booker, somebody who's never booked a round robin tournament, how that will go. Because that seems like it's a tall task for a Taro Okada personally.
Okay. Well, I don't think that's something to dive into now because we
Well, I just
still
did,
have lots to do.
so
Well, I won't rebut. I won't have a rebuttal. Well, I'll just move on. Anyway, that was a cool match. After the match, Soriano had Hanan, Hazuki, Poi, and kind of Loki Tam square up to her a bit. Tam was kind of off to the side, just staring. She had a lot of people being like, "Hey, I want that white belt of yours." And then out strolls Mika Iwata, Sendai Girls
biggest
World
pop of the night, by the way.
Yes, which you could barely hear because they kept playing the Cosmic Angels music over it, and I was like, "Okay, turn it off." Um, yes, out strolls Mika Iwata, without the Sendai World title, I think, which is pretty telling of what the booking is going to be. She is going to get beaten. Um, and yeah, she challenged Soriano for the Yoyogi show on June 22nd. So that's a pretty cool match to do. Um, they
At
have
the
wrestled in Sendai Girls.
conversion,
The conversion, yeah. They did wrestle in Sendai Girls recently, and it went to a draw because Mika Iwata doesn't get to beat anyone. Her booking is insane. If we did a Sendai Girl show, like we would be tearing our hair out over Mika Iwata because she like won the belt, uh, went to a draw, I think straight away, got beat by Sari in a non-title match. Sari said, "I don't even want that belt. You suck," and then couldn't beat Ano in a non-title match. And I was like, "Damn, that's nasty." So yeah, Iwata is here to take a pin, but it's a great match. If you've never seen Iwata, she is pretty incredible. Um, so yeah, her and Anna is a pretty cool match to run. Probably isn't going to shift many tickets in Yoyogi, but it's a cool match for us, for people like us, and it'll probably sell cool pay-per-views as well to the Joshi nerds. So I'm into it.
yeah. I mean, I kind of feel bad for Mika. Like
Yeah,
they could have they could have put someone else in that spot. Um,
who Dash does not lose either. Dash and Chihiro are like, we do not take L's, buddy. Dash
that's
actually beat
true.
Iwata in a non-title match too. It was a hardcore
That's
match,
true.
but she did beat the world
Poor
champion.
Iwata. Man, I
Yeah,
mean, this is a match solely for me, but give me Manami versus Soria. Get
that's
the
fair.
whoo, I
Manami is
mean,
cool. Oh, Manami should
Manami's
be in a
so
tag
fucking good.
tag title match or something. Get Manami and Aniki in here. That'd
Oh,
be
get
cool.
Manami against FWC, and we are
Yeah.
set, man.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Um,
We can't fantasy book. We have too much
yeah,
to do.
yeah.
So yeah, that's Iwata and Ano. That's a very surprising match, but I'm really into it. I quite enjoy it. Um, I was kind of upset that they didn't do Xena Anno. I was like, oh, Xena getting built up for nothing, but I think they did kind of justify it with Xena getting the red belt match. I think that makes up for it to me. I don't mind the outsider challenge if somebody is getting a push on your roster on the same show.
Yeah, I mean, it is kind of very funny. I said it that like you could just beat Natsupoi and you're automatically in contention for a top title. Even though Natsupoi doesn't really win like ever. Um, she won here over Hanan, but you know, like I find that quite funny that Xena's like, okay, now I can challenge for a belt. because I beat Natsupoi, who like doesn't win. Um, but she's the future white belt champion, so like but she doesn't win now, so that's kind of funny to me.
To do the
But yeah,
match.
I'm happy for the match. I'm excited for Iwata
Mm.
versus Ano. But I
Yeah.
agree. I am interested in what that'll look like. Yoyogi is closer to Tokyo, so I don't know if that's like a big draw.
Yeah. I mean, if the
Mika
best
Iwata.
friends didn't draw, then I don't know if Iwata does. Because the
Yeah,
best friends
if
were
they're
on the
doing some
show and
plaza
got
show, that'd be something different. But I don't know.
yeah. But cool matches are cool matches. I can't complain.
Indeed.
Show though, cool main event. Really got the weekend off to a good start for after watching that, because the next show was on June 2nd. This was Stardom in Korakuen 2024. This one in front of 771 people, which for a Sunday I think is disappointing. I think they will be very not
It's quite
happy with
bad.
that. Yeah, given they didn't a title match, they've done better numbers with nothing being given away, but they did a title match. They had a big 6-on-6 faction match. Um, you know, and I feel like they definitely would have been expecting a little bit more there. So that's something to keep an eye on. The opening match of this show was Saki Kajima beating Rian and Mei Sarah in 5 minutes when Saki pinned Rian. Uh, this was pretty fun. A high speed match with Saki
Hmm.
being Saki. She kept pitting the two against each other and then turning on them, and it was really fun.
She also came out
She
with that
has
fake high speed title.
she does. She's a fake high speed title. Sakura Hirota continues to influence the world.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
so yeah, I thought this was fun. I think Rian might have a home as a high speed wrestler. I thought she looked really good during the
Hmm.
the fast paced sections here with Sarah and Saki. If they wanted to do maybe a Sai Kamatani Rian match at some point, I think that would probably do well. I think she could do it. But yeah, Saki continues to be a highlight. She's so fun. I love her.
Yeah, I don't know why. I mean, I know why, but I don't know why Sai Kamatani has the high speed belt. Cause like it feels like May Sarah just should. Like I know that sounds like funny, but like legitimately, it feels like there's like an ecosystem still there that Sai
Hmm.
Kamatani is not within. Like Saida is now like in the high speed like you saw it with the triple threat match from Kyoto, right? May
Yeah.
Sarah and even in the Crazy Star match, May Sarah and Saida had like this high speed camaraderie almost, where it's like they had a similar, they could do sequences together and it would work. Um, so the fact that like Ida was able to kind of like successfully be someone that's like competent in that ecosystem and like one with that ecosystem and Kamatani just isn't is kind of like does Saki Kashima want to wrestle Sai Kamatani like I like the idea of the fake high speed belt. I think it's very funny because she could just be like, oh well, I don't need to challenge for the belt, I am the champion. um but where are we going with the high speed belt? I know we kind of saw it as like, oh, they're going, mid card champion, but there's still an ecosystem here that Sai Kamatani is like the only one that hasn't been able to kind of, or hasn't really needed to, hasn't been displayed to uh,
I'm
interact
sure
with all
she'll
that
get
much.
there. It's just she's in a feud, which is rare for a high speed champion. So you kind of have to do something outside of it. So I think they'll be okay. She's in a feud right now. So
They might go back to back in the day when high speed title would get defended like 3 times a year, but
maybe,
it was
maybe.
just kind of like a belt buckle for a while.
I imagine the obvious match if they're doing Queen's Quest Oedo Tai is either Fukigen challenging Saya or like Rina trying to do high speed again, something along those
Mm.
lines. But I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. Um, the next match was Amisore and Rani Yagami beating Rina and Fukigen Death. Ami pinned Fukigen in 8 minutes for the Blue Thunder Bomb. I thought Rana and Rina were excellent here. I don't know if they were setting up a match or something, but they were doing really well together. So I would
So they
be
still haven't ran
here.
that.
Yeah, maybe they do it. Maybe they're saving it for a new blood or something.
New Bloods this month.
Yes, it is. I'm as shocked as anyone. Um, I don't think they run it there. Rena seems to have outside challengers maybe in line, so I don't think
She's
they
just
would
gonna be
do
like a 15 to she's gonna be the winningest singles champion of all time,
probably
given the way this is going.
maybe. I mean, they are still waiting off on the Hina match, so possibly. I don't know. But yeah, her and Rana were good here. I enjoyed them. So
Yeah. I
yeah.
didn't get to check this match out.
All right. Okay.
It was the one that
You
got
actually
slipped through.
missed out. Rana and Rena was really good.
I believe it. No,
Um,
I think Ronda's been putting things together super well. She's been a
mm,
highlight lately. The rookies
she's
in
doing
general
it.
have been, I would say.
Yeah. No, I'm
Rana
into
and the
that.
two cosmic rookies.
Yeah. Our next match was Stars v Stars. It was Mayu Iwatani, Hazuki, and Koguma beating Hanan, Saida, and Momokogo. Hazuki pinned Momokogo after a double kick in 11 minutes and 40 seconds. There was a lot of goodness here with Hazuki. Her and Ida were doing chops. Hazuki was throwing overhand chops, but like kind of was not because she kept hitting her right on the mush of the boob instead of in the chest. Um, but it was a good match.
Yeah, I enjoyed this quite a lot. It did end early, as far as I can tell. Because what was the time on this?
Um, 11 minutes 40.
Yeah, I wouldn't have been surprised if it went a couple more minutes. Because yeah, Hazuki fucking killed Momokogo with with the bicycle kick. Um,
Yeah.
and like Momokogo, I think she might have like broke her orbital. Like that's what it looked like.
Oh no.
Um, you never, that's me being a bit hyperbolic. She might have just like got a little messed up. But at first, it looked like she knocked her ass out because
Mm,
Momokogo was just laying there. She was not okay. And then eventually Momokogo kind of like got back up and but she was holding her eye very closely because that clearly messed her ass up. But yeah, I thought this match was very, very good. Stars, hot take, stars, very good. Um,
mhm.
they are the North Star of this promotion right now. If you want something that will be consistently good and entertaining and a high work rate, I pushed my non-existent glasses up to my head. Um, if you want something that's consistently great, you look to stars, and this was just
Right.
super fun. Um, and yeah, I really love them against. I thought Ida and Hazuki, like you said, that chop exchange was a lot of fun. Hazuki hurting her hand from trying too hard to chop her, and like, and then getting chopped and like bleeding is very funny. Um, yeah, I really like this overall. I'm super excited for Wingori versus FWC.
Yeah, that's going crazy.
That's like one of the matches I'm looking forward to like the most in wrestling right now. I'm gonna be honest, and it's
That's
been
fair.
that way for a minute.
Well, that's fair. Speaking of the tag division, though, in our next match, Siri and Konami announced their arrival when they beat Wakasuyama and Hanako in just under 11 minutes. Konami got the win over Waka in with the Triangle Lancer submission. Um, I was so surprised by this. Konami beat the daylights out of Waka. I
Hmm.
was so surprised. Waka had a mark on her face and everything. Like they were like killing her. And then Hanako got the hot tag, and it was a great hot tag. I will say Hanako went crazy when she got the tag in.
Yeah,
But yeah, this was just impressive. Like Waka took a beating, and Konami. I haven't seen Konami this locked in a while. She was crazy. So I really enjoyed this. Just kind of blown away by how stiff they worked that random tag match. Yeah, Konami and Siri maybe going to murder FWC soon.
maybe I don't know. Maybe FWC's chasing the record and they're one of their because
I
Konami
I don't
does
know.
get beat.
Konami does
Like
get beat, but she also wins tag titles as well. She done
this
it a
is
few
true.
times.
Um, but yeah, I enjoyed this as well. It was fascinating to see Hanako get eaten alive by Shuri, tag out, Waka get eaten alive by Konami, Hanako tag back in, get a hot tag, and then tag out. Waka gets eaten alive by Shuri and Konami, and then Konami wins. Like I was like, damn, they really fucking homegirls up. This is great. um, yeah, because you said this in the group chat. You were like, yo, you guys need to watch this because like just gonna watch Waka and Hanako versus
Yeah.
Konami and Shuri, in the middle of a like. it's a skippable match for all intents and purposes. Um, but it was just yeah, it went hard. They busted Waka the fuck up.
And like she had a visible red spot like on her cheek
Yeah,
that from the beating. So it
I don't
was
even
it's
know
crazy.
when that came in, but they got her. They
Yeah,
got her.
and in the post-match comments, that's when Siri and Konami mentioned FWC. So I would imagine that's a Yoyogi match. They do Wingori, FWC, and Nagoya. That's a pay-per-view, so they need something to sell for the
Mm.
Nagoya viewers, and then the winners take on Siri and Konami at Yoyogi. So I mean, that's if they lay it out logically. Who the hell knows? But I'd imagine that's how it's gonna go.
Yeah, Shuri and Konami actually aren't challenged for the belt until year end.
I mean, based on how they're blue balling everyone with Anno versus Poi, I would not be shocked. Because that's I almost feel like that's being held off on for December with how
Oh
they
yeah,
keep
no, it
talking
is.
it
It
off.
the way it's looking, they might just do Meltier winning the two belts at year end.
Ooh, that would be very tarot coded. That would be very tarot. He might do that. I don't know if he can hold
I think
off
that
on
might be
Poi
his
that
only
long, but
plan.
probably, yeah. Oh, that and a way to tie. Push away to tie. Get
Yeah.
heat. Speaking of Oedo Tai, no, they aren't actually in this match, really. Oh, I thought they were in this match. Okay, never mind.
No, they're in the main event.
So we had a 6-on-6 match. Saya Kamatani, Azumi, Lady C, Miyo Misaki, Hina, and Starlight Kid. Starlight Kid completing the gauntlet of factions that she has to join. They beat Tam Nakano, Shiori Ano, Natsupoi, Unimon, Aya Sakura, and Sayaka Karara of the Cosmic Angels. Azumi got the win for her team over Karara in 21 minutes with a diving foot stomp. There was so much happening in this match, but it was excellent. I don't call them the work rate angels for no reason. They are an insane faction. I thought they were really good here. I thought Kid had some interesting moments when she was with Queen's Quest. Kid and Tam actually were going crazy. I wonder what that's setting up. Um, yeah, just a lot of good stuff in this match. To be honest, like nothing really stood out beyond what I've mentioned already. Like Hina, did well. Kid did well. Cosmic Angels kicked ass. Poi and Azumi kicked ass. There was a lot of ass kicking in this. It was just really fun.
I'm always happy to see Azumi just, you know, kill it all the time.
She got a
Um,
win too. When was the last time she
yeah.
won a match like
Uh,
herself?
she. It's been a minute.
Yeah. Was it
At least
with
like
her and
a
Carrara? Oh yeah, it was her and Carrara. That was fun actually as well.
yeah. I didn't watch this when it was live. I just kind of kept tabs on it because
Shame.
I wanted to see, um,
Would
what
Starlight Kid make
like if
her
Kid. Yeah, I
decision?
wanted to see if Kid was gonna make a move.
She's LeBron
Um,
Jamings the shit out of this. She's like, I've teamed
yeah.
with everyone. I'm not ready yet though. I'm not ready yet. It's like, all right, make up your mind.
Unfortunately, she doesn't have a son to want to hang out with.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, no, I kept looking back, and it was just continuously Azumi Carrara. I was like, damn, they giving these
Yeah.
motherfuckers a long time. They're giving them time for this. But yeah, I'm happy that they kind of worked it well. There's something after the match that was interesting that I read way too much into.
Oh, was it
Um,
Kevin? Kevin and Kid?
no,
Maybe?
not even
No.
that.
Oh,
It
Saya?
was Kid and Saya.
Yes, kind of.
Kid
Saya
just
Saya
like
seemed very distant. I don't know.
Saya gave Kid a weird look, and Kid
Mm,
looked like she was like reading her mind. It was a very interesting moment.
it was.
Um, and I was like, what's happening? Like,
There
you
was
know
a
what I
lot of
mean?
little
Like, I don't know.
stuff because I don't know if you
Yeah.
picked up on it, but Miyu Amasaki like slapped Kid's hand away from her as well at one
Yes,
point,
that did
and
happen.
Kid responded. There just seems to be a lot of friction going on there.
Amongst
Um,
everybody.
yeah. Um, Kid added, I think, as well to the pile of people wanting Ano's belt. She did a stare down with Ano, but I don't know if that's just Kid being Kid or if that's something to look into. Um, it is funny, and I did say this on Twitter. Micah had to go to JTO to get some work, whereas Ano has about 6 challengers, and it's insane. Um, but yeah, this match was loaded with stuff. I'd imagine we're gonna look back at it as well as a very key thing because it seemed like it set up a few directions. I think the Kid Tam thing was really interesting. They've been saying a lot of stuff on Twitter as well. Tam was like, "I need you, Starlight Kid. You bring out the best in me and stuff." And Kid said, "Maybe if I go to Cosmic Angels, I will unmask to fit their vibe." So her and Tam seem to be setting something up, and then her and Saya were giving each other daggers, and Saya was kind of strutting off at the end, kind of separate from Queen's Quest a little bit, but not too much to notice. It was weird. There was a lot going on. So I'd imagine we'll look back on this and go, they teased everything. They said about 8 different things. Um, yeah, Kid said she still hadn't made her decision in the backstage comments. She was like, "Yeah, I've teamed with everybody now, but I'm not sure yet." So um, maybe at the conversion. Maybe.
Mm,
Maybe at Nagoya? I don't know.
yeah, we'll see. I don't know. It's Kid is an interesting cat here.
Yes.
'Cause you kind of have to wonder like what's I don't know.
They have
Faction shit.
certainly
That's
ramped it up.
that's we're in an interesting spot for factions and whatnot. Um, because I don't know. I think I'm leaning towards Kid not joining any of the current factions. Uh,
Yes, that's what I'm getting to. I think Kid, Azumi, uh, not Kurara, Miyamasaki, possibly. Because Miyu
you think
as
Crazy
well.
Star goes in with that?
Yeah, probably. Because Miyu planted the seed as well in the backstage comment. She was like, I know Saya asked Momo back, and Azumi wasn't happy, but I will side with Azumi." So there's a very clear battle line drawn there already between O2 Line and Saya. So I am leaning more towards a Kid Azumi led group um, than not, especially because it's easy if they both leave, as was teased by Fumi. You can just kick them out for Crazy Star. So I think that's probably the easiest route to go with them two. And you get to like do a big run where they're together after facing each other for so long. So I'm kind of leaning towards that as well.
Yeah. Interestingly enough, I was calling that. Oh, they could just make that uh faction O2 line because they're all born in O2. I forgot
Yeah.
Kid's actually older than everybody.
Oh,
She was born in late '01, so that's kind of
ancient.
yeah,
Absolutely ancient. Get out of
yeah.
here, you old hag.
She
Start
was
putting the youngins over, buddy.
wait, hold on. I'm checking something real quick.
Oh,
I
okay.
apologize.
I thought something had happened. I was like, oh dear.
No, no, no,
Um,
nothing's happened. I
okay.
want I want to prove how ancient Starlight Kid is.
Oh,
She
okay.
was born before 9/11.
Wow, crazy. The learning tree Starlight Kid. Just get out of here, old hag. All right. The main event of the show was Micah, Mina Shirakawa, and Xena beating Natsuko Tora, Momo Watanabe, and Tekla. Xena got the win over Momo after a little bit of was it miscommunication? I can't fully remember.
Kind of.
I think there was. Yeah.
Yeah.
But Xena
Oh
got
yeah,
the
there
win for
was.
her
I'm an idiot.
team with Thunderstruck. I had expected Momo might take the pin here because it seemed a very obvious way of teasing further, like her leaving. So I was very much of the opinion she would lose. Um, I think Xena pinning her is pretty big. They had a great stretch as well in this match, I will say. This was a fantastic main event, and I thought Xena and Momo killed it together. Tekla and Mina as well briefly were put together, and I thought they did really well because they started as the main feud of this, by the way. Um, Tekla turned on Mina to start this all, and then said
Yes.
she was going to kill the idols. So they
And to
are
be fair,
still going at it.
Mina and Tekla was Tekla's first feud in the company.
Yeah.
Like
Oh yeah.
this is a an old thing. It's been a minute.
Was it for the
Um,
SWA belts?
it was
No. Oh yeah. Okay.
that Shuri vacated. Yes,
Yes.
it was for the vacant SWA belt back in the day. Um, and then Tekla got fucking pwned by Utami. That was so funny.
Yeah. Now the belt
Um,
doesn't exist.
yeah.
Crazy.
But yeah. So that's cool. Xena's interesting. I'm happy that Xena's getting stuff to do, but
Mm.
red belt is interesting.
Yeah,
Um,
she's not red belt tier push wise. I mean they have been pushing her the past couple of weeks, but this is her first big win, I think, in Stardom, and going straight to the red belt is a bit much, especially when you only get
has
one
she
red belt
had a
match.
singles match this year in the company?
Um, was she in Cinderella? Yeah, she was in Cinderella.
What?
So
Oh, she was. Yeah, I forget.
yeah. But I do think when you're doing one red belt match a month, you have to go through the top tier, to me. So I do think it's a bit of
And the
a
thing is that they do it even less frequently than that. They do it like
yes,
every
pretty
other month at
much.
this point.
So it's like if you're gonna do them less often, your challengers have to be of the highest tier. So while push wise, I don't think it's a great contest for Micah. Like she's obviously going to win, which is never a great scenario. I think the match itself will make up for it. I think Xena could have one of those like being made into a star in defeat kind of performances because she's so good. Like she deserves it. She
Yes.
she really deserves that spot. They just could have built up to it a lot better. But
It's
they did give her
fascinating
some
how
momentum.
few singles matches like ever Xena's had.
Yeah, wasn't she in a tag team in Australia as well?
She's had 38 singles matches because she
Yeah.
did win a singles title in uh yeah, in Australia.
FWA?
Yeah, she was the FWA
Yeah.
champion, yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Um, but that was
'Cause
pretty
I know
much
she
most of
teamed
her
with
singles matches.
yeah, she teamed with someone else in Australia. Jayla J, is that it? I can't remember.
I think I know who you're
Um,
talking about. That
yeah,
yeah.
because I think there was a big retirement send off, and that was all Xena would talk about on Twitter for a while. um, so yeah, that's yeah. What did you think of the match? You haven't put it out there because I thought it was
I thought
fantastic. I'm putting my neck out here.
Xena was very good. Um,
Hmm.
you are obviously way higher on Tekla and Mina than I am, so I thought they were all right.
Okay.
Um, but yeah, I thought that Xena and Momo were the highlight.
Yeah.
If I'm being completely honest, I could not tell you a single thing that Natsuko did in this match.
She did crowd brawling. You know. Yeah.
Natsuko once upon a time was like my favorite wrestler.
Oh,
this
dude, yeah,
is
we
it's
we were very
it's
complimentary of her. Even when it
yeah.
wasn't cool to be complimentary of
Yeah,
her, we
even
were
when
we
she
were very
was
into it.
like, really leaning into like the harder to do stuff. I still liked her a lot. I feel like they told her, "Hey, you don't gotta try no more. We got this gimmick. We got this
Yeah.
story, this gimmick for you. You don't gotta try no more." And she just doesn't, even in title matches. Because that was the thing. She would always try in title matches at least. Uh,
Hmm.
and like, yeah, this kind of showed, you know,
Yeah. I
this
will
just
give it
made
the
me
credit. They
concerned
did.
about the perspective Micah challenge.
Oh yeah. They did kind of tease the Micah Xena thing at one point. Micah wouldn't tag out; she was getting a bit too overconfident, and Xena tagged herself in. So they did a very minimal tease for that title match eventually. And I think it was more Micah being like, "What's your problem? Do you want this belt?" And Xena challenged then. So they did kind of set it up, but yeah, it's very much
Hmm.
out of nowhere. Gonna be a fun match though, definitely. Very interested in
Yeah,
it. Um,
Micah usually
I
works well with the foreigners.
yeah, that's true. Yeah, I did like the Oedo Tai performance here. It was the oh, hold on. I started to compliment the Oedo Tai, and it's like, all right, no. Um, yeah, I'll jump back in. So I'm off my flow now. I'm very upset. Yeah, I enjoyed the Oedo Tai performance. Thought Takla was good at like being an annoyance. Momo was beating everybody up. Tora was brawling. She misted some people. The finish came actually after she misted Momo by mistake. So very much teasing some dissent there in Oedo Tai. Um, Tony Storm appeared via video after the match to welcome Mina through the forbidden door. So
Oh.
So they essentially said we are doing Tony versus Mina, which we all knew months back, basically. Um, yeah, it was interesting. Mina did her promo in English, and it was really weird. She was very over the top about everything. And then she reset it in Japanese, and everybody laughed because she had different cadence. Um, but yeah, you know, that's the
Mina
AEW involvement.
was also on AEW last week
Oh yeah,
or this past week.
sure, yeah,
That was the thing that happened.
something.
Yeah, RJ's done
She
better. I'm gonna be honest.
That's
Um,
fair. Mina did say like I'm Mariah's actual friend and mentor, so it seems like there's going to be a big split over Mariah.
Yes.
which I guess has to happen. Mariah and Tony is pretty obvious for Wembley, and they kind of need to get a move on with that. So I could see the Mina
Well,
Tony match
they don't
being a,
they don't even need to because that just means Mariah's winning the Owen. Because that's what they're doing.
yeah. You could still
But
start
I
the
get what you
tease
mean.
of a split, yeah, with
Yeah.
Mina like losing and Mariah maybe comforting her more than Tony or something. I don't know, but yeah, this the thing with Tony is she gets a big response from the Stardom fans. Like they popped like crazy for this. So I know her and Mina are gonna wrestle at Forbidden Door, but I feel like there's a world where she could do a match in Japan, and I think the crowd would be super into it because they do react every time. You know, she got a quite a response here for showing up.
Former World of Stardom champion.
Yeah, that's true.
Won every tournament. Or no, the two tournaments. She didn't win the tag league. Uh,
Oh yeah, singles tournaments. So
yeah, won both singles tournament
yeah.
in the same year.
Um. Yes, and had a weird run. Accidentally
Yeah,
won the red belt.
I'm not saying that
Didn't.
she was great, but
Yeah.
but she was there.
Well, yeah.
She
Not
was
many
popular.
people can say they accidentally won the red belt. So,
Yes.
in fairness, Couture threatened to ruin a way or to kill Queen's Quest afterwards. She said, "We lost because of Saya Kamatani getting into Momo's head." So that is all coming to a collision sometime soon. Not actually the AEW collision, like an actual collision. Um, yeah, that was Stardom. I enjoyed the Korakuen. I really thought it was a good show, and I feel like if people, a lot of people have been like, I don't really watch Stardom as much anymore, and I think if they watched this, they would get back into the swing of things. Because it was a really good show. It was good vibes.
I don't know if I fully agree on like on good vibes, but I didn't think that like I didn't see any glaring issues with that. I thought it was pretty fun. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, I think it's interesting. I feel like when when people are like high on star or not even how can I put this? When people are low on stardom in the moment, they're low on stardom, but then when they aren't necessarily like low on it in the moment, they can also be like, yeah, but like I could see things just not shaking out the way I like it.
Yeah.
And that's kind of where I am sometimes is that it's like this episode is obviously kind of shown is that it's like these shows were not bad. I had a fine time watching the Osaka show and the Sendai show and the Korakuen show. I didn't dislike them, but as I said, I'm kind of fearful for what the upcoming shows are going to look like, what the upcoming pay-per-views are going to look like, what the 5 stars going to look like. I'm a bit unconfident. I just lack a bit of confidence going forward. But like you said, this show, good show. These couple shows, I had a fun time. Um, and the roster, I mean, at the end of the day, the roster is just absurd. It's kind of hard
Mm.
to beat them. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and this got like a crazy roster. I mean, not like we used to talk about the
And
top
that's like
10,
up
and
and
you could
down.
take people out, and they would still have a great top 10, and they have taken people out, and they probably still have a great top 10
That's
to
what I
this
mean is
day.
that it's like you look at a Saida. It's
Yeah.
like she's just really fun to watch. Like, and that's not, somebody in her position never won a singles belt since the future belt, right? Hasn't won a professional serious singles belt. Someone in her position does not need to be as good as she fucking is, but
Hmm.
she is. And you know, she's not that top 5, top 10 wrestler. For me, she is because she's the most fun wrestler to watch. But just like generally, they just have such a good up and down roster. Same with like a May Sarah, just consistently great. Um, so it's hard to fuck up with this roster, which is why it gets a little concerning when they do fuck up.
That's fair. See though. So there's a few Stardom shows this weekend, but there's no cards, so it does make it difficult. The main one is the Yoyogi show on the 8th. This is a pay-per-view.
Wait, the
That they've
Yoyogi or the Nagoya?
Oh, sorry, Nagoya, Nagoya.
Okay.
Nagoya is on the 8th. And they are selling this as a pay-per-view, so they usually juice up the cards a little bit for the pay-per-views on Stardom World, but not too much. So that's why I'm expecting Wingori FWC there. Um, Probably
Isn't Tam
not
from
much
Nagoya?
else. Yeah, she is.
Maybe they run like a Tam versus Kid. singles.
I don't know if they do a singles match.
But you know what I mean, something just like kind of out
Yeah,
there that we just like
definitely.
pop a
Yeah,
thing for Tam.
but I think that might be all. And then the Toyama show, I mean, that'll probably be nothing. Um, the other thing is that there are some catch the wave matches involving Stardom this weekend. Kamatani is facing Yuko Sakurai, former favorite of the show, Lollipop stands,
Shouts
remember?
out. Man,
And then
I miss
Rani
Shane
Yagami.
Namaker so goddamn much.
Oh, that's yeah. And then Rani Yagami is wrestling Riara, which is great. They
That'll
have
probably be good.
Riara as Ganbare Pro Wrestling, but I don't think she's with
She went
Ganbare anymore.
freelance.
Yeah, somebody's got to tell the Stardom website people that Riara is not with Ganbare. Yeah, Rana and Riara is something I'm really interested in. They are both really good. So that's the
Yeah,
Stardom
no,
part
I
of the
agree.
show. We have kind of some Marigold to do.
Hmm.
There were two Marigold shows this past week. They aren't up. Sadly, our schedules don't really allow us to wait. Um, so we can talk about the results and stuff and
We have a
look
Korakuen
ahead.
next week.
Yeah, we do. So that's kind of the
Full
main
card.
focus, I would think. The first show was on the 1st of June. This was in the Osaka 176 box, an iconic little venue for Joshi indie fans. They had 494 fans for this, and I did not know the venue fit that much.
Yeah, me neither.
Nobody else gets that. Like, that's crazy. That is really, really good. Um, the opener was interesting. Chika Goto and Victoria Yuzuki went to a 15-minute time limit draw. So I think Chika Goto is being slotted in very high up the card if she's going to a draw with Yuzuki.
Well, not even, but I think she's being slotted as like a top rookie, similar to
Yeah.
Yuzuki is. Um, but then again, we haven't really seen a Yuzuki versus a Misa Matsui, right? Where it's like Misa's not a rookie, but they kind of have her lower on the card.
Mm.
So it's still like that result is interesting because yeah, they clearly slot them similar to each other, but we still aren't fully aware of where they slot against the rest of the card because like Yuzuki's always either she's lost to Bozilla, Nanae, uh, I don't know, right? Like those are top three. Those are top five wrestlers in the company, um, in terms of protection. So it'll be interesting to see where these two kind of slot because yeah, this guy shows me they're at the same level. I wonder if a Chikagoto is gonna beat a Nao Ishikawa, but maybe lose to a Koki. You know what I mean? Like I think that's where I'm kind of at. Um, I hope now Ishikawa isn't literally the bottom of of the totem pole,
Uh,
but
it depends. I mean, there's a rookie coming in, so it's probably the rookies.
yes,
Like the
yes,
actual rookies, not the
yeah.
pretend ones. But yeah, I don't know. I think Chica going even in the mid card is higher than I thought for somebody so raw. You know, so I do think that's why I was surprised that Yuzuki didn't just beat her. You know.
I don't know. I think Koki being slotted as like a upper mid carder, like low main eventer, um,
Yeah, well, that's peak Rossi.
is
I'm sorry, like that's just
yes, but
Rossi.
that's the thing is that I think Chikagoto has certain better fundamentals than Koki. So I think he's
Yeah.
probably like, well, I can't put Koki on top of the world and put Goto at the bottom of the mountain because they're similar and certain things Chikagoto's better at. So it's like, I can see him kind of being like, I'll I'll wait and see with Goto a bit.
Hmm. Well, that's fair enough. The next match was Nagisa Nozaki beating Zeta Steel in 8 minutes, pretty much as you'd expect. Nozaki winning. Um,
Zeta Steel has become I'm a fan. I've
yeah,
officially decided that
and
I'm
you
a
didn't
fan of
even get
Zeta
to see
Steel.
her this weekend, but
No,
she
but
blew you
like,
away.
she did that backstage promo with Bozilla that was very funny.
Yeah.
And I've just been like I watched the matches from the week before and just generally I watched the digests and she was very active in the training.
Hmm.
Uh so, like just stuff like that. I appreciate her hustle. So I'm hopeful that she has a good tour here.
All right. Nanae Takahashi beat Chiaki in our next match in 13 minutes. This is a passion injection match, so obviously Nanae
Yeah.
won. The main point was Chiaki afterwards being very disappointed that she keeps losing. So she made a point of being like, I have to stop losing soon. So
To be fair, the
they
next show she was like, maybe wrestling's about more than winning and losing. But
Crazy.
I wouldn't be
Uh,
surprised if she's like, you know what? No, I'm tired of this shit.
yeah, that
Grabs
seems
a
to be where this is going. Is her like
yeah,
getting upset at losing so much. Um,
using deadly weapons.
Maybe. Let's hope so. Bozilla and Myla Grace beat Misa Matsui and Natsumi Shozuki. Nobody can stop the Bozilla. Um,
Except for
you
that
know,
is
they
one thing
uh,
is is that they are very clearly positioning Mila Grace ahead of Zeta Steel. And I was like, I don't know about this.
well, that's the experience difference, I would think. They probably do
Probably.
acknowledge that Grace technically, I think, debuted in 2017. So, I mean, you've got many years over Steel.
Yeah, true.
But
I know.
yeah, I mean, Brazilla
We'll talk
wins.
about it in a minute.
Shocker. And then Mariah and Utami Hayashishita unsurprisingly beat Mai Sakurai and Miku Aono. Yeah, Mai Sakurai is kind of positioned as the pin eater in these high end matches. So, the Mariah Utami team was always going to win.
Yeah. I don't know. Got a lick on Utami. She
Oh, yeah?
she got her with the little mark too, like
Oh, hell yeah.
Waka got. And that looks like that's going to be something. You know what I mean? Like they
Hmm.
kind of uh they ran that back to back these 2 days, I believe. And
They
yeah,
did.
Aono
Yes,
and
yes.
Utami seem like a surefire, you know, feud moving forward, or like partnership down the line. I could see either, honestly, but it's kind of hard because they're both top tiers.
Sure. The second show then was the next day. They did 339 fans in the Act City Hamamatsu, which I think is pretty solid. Um, I feel like Stardom maybe did higher before, but it's all right for your first time. In the opener, Chica Goto beat Myla Grace. So yeah, I think Chica slotting in higher than
How
you'd
much did they
expect.
do
So
for the Osaka box show? That was
449,
four
I want to say.
449.
Yeah,
I'm just saying they like almost they matched Stardom's Cork in house shows, so that's
yeah, it's pretty
you know
impressive.
in
Um,
two houses that we didn't really know fit that much. So
I thought
respectable.
Osaka would be fine. You know,
Yeah.
but yeah,
Um,
Act City was definitely a surprise.
I thought it was the other way around. That's how I saw it.
Oh, interesting.
The
I
Osaka
don't know. I mean,
box.
the
The Osaka box
Osaka
is very small.
box, it is, but I mean, I didn't know. Well, yeah, I suppose you're right.
It'd be like that sometimes. Thank
Yeah,
you. It's nice when you admit that were you know you don't do
okay,
that all the
that's great. Thanks. I just gotta check.
time.
I was not going to check whether you were right or wrong. That's not what I was going to
No, but
check.
it did sound funny that you were like,
It did.
"Yo,
It's
man, fuck you."
very coincidental. No, that was the bad timing. Um, our next match was Nagisa Nozaki beating Chiaki in just under 11 minutes, which is pretty standard, I would imagine.
Mm,
Um, some aspects of these Marigold cards are very me playing TEW, where it's like, all right, here's the order, because they had Nagisa win second, Nanae win third, Ozilla goes on fourth, Utami Aono main event, and it's like that's
yep.
just the format now. But yeah, that is kind of funny.
But
Um,
for
it works.
I think they kind of do it for they're doing this in tours, right?
Yeah,
So I imagine this is like how they are visualizing the first tour
yeah,
of the
possibly.
company. It's just kind of very formulaic in that way.
It's not
Um,
it's not that I don't like it. I just think it's funny because I
yeah.
would definitely be
No,
this.
I feel you.
I would do this as well. But yeah, Nanai beats Misa Matsui in a passion injection match in 14 minutes. I'd assume there's a 15-minute limit on those, so that's almost a time limit for Misa.
Yeah, Sonny called this the best passion injection ever.
I'm not surprised. Misa, if she's
Yeah, to
on,
be fair,
she's
I'm pretty
on.
sure Sonny's a big Misa fan as well. Uh, which you should
Sometimes,
be. You
sometimes
should be.
Sonny knows ball. Sonny
Yeah,
also he apparently was the one to scout Zeta, so he does know ball sometimes. I
yeah,
will give him
yeah.
that.
Respect.
Um,
Um, but yeah, so I am excited to see this Misa. I said it last week that it's like, oh, if they can kind of work it in a way that like cater, like it lets Misa show up, um,
mhm.
and it's not just not kind of beating on her. Then I can beat on her, but there needs to be more, some Misa elements to it. If they can do that, then it's going to be great. and it sounds like they might have done that. I'm excited to see it. But yeah, it's what you expect. 14 minutes is impressive though. That Misa pushed it. You know,
All right,
I think that's
that's
pretty cool.
that's fair. I'm in agreement. Our next match was Mai Sakurai and Mirai beating Bozilla and Zeta Steel in just under 14 minutes. Mirai was the first person to really overcome Bozilla. Obviously
Hmm.
they didn't pin Bozilla, but it's
They
Bozilla getting a
submitted
loss
Zeta
either way.
Seal. One of them.
Yeah, and
I don't
that
know.
Bozilla was not happy by her tag partner tapping out. It was very funny. She was not. She was
Uh,
not happy.
03 line lasted a whole day. Isn't that great?
Yeah. I think it's pretty important that they gave Mirai that one because they could have just went with the standard Bozilla beats Mai Sakurai. But
Hmm.
instead they very much made it that Mirai was one of the first teams to like overcome Zeta or not Zeta, Bozilla. So I think that's something to keep an eye on. Yeah, kind of maybe longer term. I think Bozilla Utami is the obvious first big feud, but maybe Bozilla
I feel like
Mirai.
I might see it opposite. I
Well,
think
I
I
don't
think
know.
Bozilla
Well,
Utami is
okay,
probably the
okay.
long term bet.
Assuming they do a big show in December, Utami Bozilla is probably your match there, right? With
Hmm.
Utami winning, Mirai getting her win would be later, I would think.
I can see that.
Yeah, I mean,
I
Mirai
wonder if
might challenge
Bozilla just
first based on EO,
yeah.
but
I
I don't
wonder
know.
if Bozilla just wins the red belt.
She should honestly, and I think Rossi does book like that. I feel like that's how he functions.
Bozilla is the first Marigold World Champion would be a
It'd be a statement.
choice.
It would be a
Yeah,
statement.
that's what I mean. It'd
Yeah,
be a yeah.
but
You don't see
I
that
could
very
see him
often.
doing it. I
I
could
wouldn't be
really see it.
opposed to it. Like I'm not against it, but
Hmm.
it would be an interesting choice. Um,
Definitely.
'Cause usually
I
you want to set the tone with that first champion.
mm,
Uh, is Bozilla the nobody can match Bozilla's tone. Like that's such like a that will
yeah.
be such a if you look back at 10 years from now, that'll be such a funny uh you know fun fact.
Hmm.
Whether or not she becomes the biggest star in professional wrestling, in women's wrestling in the world, or she doesn't. That will be like a very like damn Brazil was the first world champion. That
Yeah,
would be like a real statement. So yeah, but it's looking that way.
it is. I
I'm
mean,
not gonna
considering
lie.
Alpha
Brazil
Female was the
saying,
second World of Stardom champion, I'm
yeah,
not all that surprised.
that's what I mean. Is that it's like Utami winning first and then Brazil winning it would make sense, but I don't know if Utami's winning it first. Because yeah, I mean like uh if there is WWE involvement, it'll probably be against Utami.
Yeah, I mean,
Um,
Utami Io is the obvious one.
yeah.
Yeah.
Um, I also saw that the Marigold account on Twitter followed Blair Davenport, so
Oh my God, roll out the
that'll
Queen's Landing.
yeah y'all wanna be a little scared. There's that. But so yeah, but
Has
regardless
she
if it's
debuted
EO
on
or Blair,
SmackDown since being drafted?
no, neither is Dijak. To be
No,
fair, like
Dijak. Yeah. All right, sure.
hot take, Dijak better wrestler than B Priestley, but
Uh,
um,
he's more annoying though,
well,
so which is impressive.
yeah, I was gonna say, do you remember what we had to go through? But either way, whether it's B Priestley or Io Shirai, obviously I prefer if it's one of them to the other. Um, I need to see that Queen's Landing. No, regardless of who it is, it will be against Utami. So I wonder what like Bozilla's path is kind of getting cleared
Yeah,
to the red belt.
I
Especially
agree.
since
Megan
Julia
Bain is in jail,
Sari, yeah, Megan
not
Bain,
real
free
jail.
her.
Yeah.
Um,
So
Free her in more ways than one, as I found out recently. Free her.
okay.
You get what that joke's about. Nobody else
Yeah,
does. Um, but yeah, so the seas are kind of parting for Bozilla to win the red
for
belt
sure.
first up, which is kind of
Um,
insane.
that it is. I mean, I'm on board. She's over. She works. It would be interesting. So it's something nobody else can offer, which I think is what
Hmm.
your world champion should preferably be. Because nobody else can be a Bozilla or push a Bozilla. You can't manufacture that. So, but
Man,
anyway, we'll just
AW
finish
got a
up on this
free.
card.
Uh, AW need a free Meg Bain so that she can go face Bozilla at one of the big shows. in the next year.
Imagine we got like the modern day bull monster ripper. That would be
That would be,
that's basically what it would
that's
be.
such a
Put them
crazy
in a
comparison,
cage,
but yes.
put them in a cage and let them go. Um, yeah. Anyway, Mika Iono and Natsumi Suzuki beat Utami Hayashishita and Victoria Yuzuki. Mika Iono got one over on the home army and got her team a win.
Hmm.
This is probably the
The
match that I think
OG7.
most people are into because this is two of the top acts from AWG going against Utami and Victoria Yuzuki. So I cannot wait for this one to go up.
Yeah, I know. I'm excited for these Marigold shows. Uh, there's a there's still an excitement in the air. Obviously, like I'm looking at them, and I am having some criticisms of them. I'm kind of like, oh, I would like it if they had some more wrestlers so they could do trios matches because like I would like to have a trios match every once in a
Someday.
while.
I'm
Or
surprised
stuff,
Marvelous
like
hasn't been
stuff like
over
that.
to like do stuff
That's what I
like
mean
that.
is that it's like I feel like it's a slower start than I almost expected. Um,
Yeah.
but I'm still excited for these shows because the matches are just they have such a great crew. I mean,
Also, they are run at Corkin, so you'll be
they are,
you'll
but
be good.
have you seen it? Um,
Yeah. I probably
it
have, but
could be bad.
haven't like taken it in yet.
Yeah.
I cannot find the
Um,
card. I won't lie to you.
oh boy.
The Japanese
I will find it on my phone.
account tweets. Okay, because it's not on the English account from what I can see, and the Japanese account tweets too much. So
Well,
because
I don't know if you
Mirai
noticed
did a whole
their
thing,
publicist
and they
posted
have
it. Um,
their publicist. Oh, Scott. I hope you meant Scott, otherwise that's gonna seem mean.
I did mean Scott.
Okay.
Marigold has announced the full from Scott E Wrestling. The Marigold has announced the full card for their next
Okay,
Korakuen show.
don't yet,
No, I
don't
know.
yet.
It's fine. It's fine.
Uh, yeah.
But yeah, like there are things that I'm just like I kind of want to get like going a bit quicker. Uh, Especially after such a
So I
hot start with the
found the
Korakuen.
card. I'm good.
Good job.
Found it. Thank you.
So it was such a hot start with the opening with the Marigold Fields Forever. So I'm hoping the score can kind of like, you know, gets us on a roll. And I do hope that Marvelous,
Yeah.
kind of shows up at some point so we can have tag title matches. Like I don't. It's it's hard to see any like tag title contenders yet, um, with such a small roster. But I will say, how the fuck were they going to do this without the actress girls?
Oh, I have no idea. There definitely would have been more outsiders, I think. Maybe
Yeah,
Hiroyo?
I assume
Because
so.
remember Hiroyo was at the first Korakuen but wasn't booked. Maybe
Hiroyo's on a break. She's not wrestling
she?
right now.
Oh,
I
because
wouldn't be
maybe
surprised if she wrestles for Marigold down the line, though.
could definitely could. Um,
She
I'm
should.
very
She's still
disappointed
great.
because Ticket Pia and the other ticket site are both down, so I can't even see how tickets are selling for this Korakuen
Oh, I also got this
because
info from Scott yesterday. Hold on, he texted me about this.
oh,
About ticket info. Uh,
because I
okay,
am assuming that this will not do nearly as well as
Mari Marigold has sold out 2 sections on one site and 3 on another for their Korakuen, which is, I'd
wow.
argue, good for a Tuesday. This plus a walk-up will probably be a
Yeah,
pretty solid number.
yeah. See, I'd been wondering kind of where they do because it's a Tuesday show. It's not the debut
Yeah.
anymore, and they have Sumo Hall in a month's time. That is gonna distract people. So my initial estimation was if they do 800 here, I would be jumping for joy if I was them.
Yeah, I was gonna say
But
over 800 is a win.
yeah, it seems like they'll throw that away if they've got multiple sections sold out already, though. So maybe they'll be okay.
Because like
Um,
on top of that, the Korakuen isn't particularly stacked. Like it has Utami
no.
versus Nanae, which is like big, but it has
Well,
Saori
there's no
versus a
Julia
Rook.
as well. That's why
There's no
I lowered
Chulia.
it as well.
Yeah, so it's like there is a lot. Bozo's in a trios match. Um, Not saying Bozo's the biggest draw in the but you get what I mean. That's like it. It's still lower stakes. We haven't gotten to the point where the Korkins have title matches on them because there's no titles yet. But we also aren't on the first show, so this is a death spot for them, kind of. Uh,
Yeah.
Even more so than like their Korkins after Ryogoku, because then they'll have championships. If they want to throw a white belt match on the Korkin, they can, and they probably will. Uh, but
Hmm.
this is kind of a death spot for them right now. So yeah, I would say over 800 is definitely a win.
Sure. Getting onto the card though, in the opener, Mirai takes on the debuting Komomo Minami. 2 years in the waiting for Komomo, apparently, based on what Rossi said. He also said her gear is going to be a bit different, so I'm very confused about what that might mean.
Yeah,
But
I've
yeah,
heard good things about her gear. That's wait,
oh
wait,
yeah,
wait. He said it's gonna be different.
yeah. Well, he was like, "Oh, it's going to be interesting," kind of
Okay. Yeah,
unique.
I've heard
Um,
I've also heard about her gear. Strangely enough, that
I
apparently
see.
it looks
Well, I
cool.
mean, Rossi said it in a tweet, so that's how I know. But you know,
But yeah,
anyway,
Mirai's
Mirai
been
is going to
training
win.
with Komomo Minami for a long time, apparently.
Oh yeah, yeah, true.
Um, so yeah, that's why she's got the spot.
Okay.
Mirai's gonna win, but I am interested to see what Komomo Minami's all about. They said she was a high speed wrestler. I don't know if she's going to be a high speed wrestler. Especially since the high speed
Yeah.
there isn't high speed hidden.
No, yeah, it's a
Like that's
different
not a thing.
company, different house
Um,
style. So.
different company, boom boom. Yeah, so we'll see how like what her like measurements are if she'll fit the flyweight division
Oh
or if
yeah,
she'll just
that
be a
thing.
completely different animal altogether.
Yeah, we shall see. Um, our next match is now Ishikawa taking on Nagisa Nozaki, which is very interesting clash here. The heelish
Mm.
Nozaki, the Ishikawa trying to prove herself. Very simple dynamic, but I think it will work really well. And I imagine
Ishikawa,
Nozaki
the
wins.
actress killer, that's actually what she called herself.
Yeah,
Uh, is probably going to get
not very
killed by a
effective yet.
non-actress. No, not at all.
Yeah, for sure.
I think she said I'm
So
going to become the actress killer, but
well, maybe. But yeah, you pay off that first win. Not yet.
she thinks she's perfect blue. Um, that's a very random reference, but yeah,
Yeah, I
I'm
don't
excited for that match. I'm excited for that match. I think
okay.
that could work. Like I think Ishikawa and Nozaki could probably work off each other pretty well.
Mm.
And I hope this is like us getting to see Nozaki like show up. It's been a bit.
It is a Korakuen.
Yeah,
She won't be
yeah. So
relegated to the side of a match. Well, actually, she wasn't relegated. That was just a poor match. I remember now.
yeah, but you know what I mean.
Yeah. Well, let's hope so.
Mm.
The next match is Mai Sakurai and Misa Matsui taking on Natsumi Shozuki and Chiaki. This could
Hoo,
go
hoo, hoo.
any number of ways because Shozuki could win, Chiaki could lose and lose her shit, or Chiaki could like mess up Shozuki and lose on purpose. I could see like anything happening here, really.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. I wonder if something's going to happen here, like if someone's gonna go down, or if Chiaki's
If
just
it's
gonna
gonna
lose.
happen, it's Karkin, surely.
Yeah, true. That's true. You would want to do it before the Ryogoku show, I would imagine, just so that you have a defined. That if Chiaki does turn on Shozuki, you could run that as a singles match at Ryogoku, for example. Um, I think that would kind of fit the bill. Um, yeah, it's interesting. I'm interested in this match. Um, yeah, I don't know. This is one of the matches I forgot was happening, but I'm happy with it.
That's fair. It's funny, the Japanese account really interests me because they always forget to post at least one match, and then they'll post it way later randomly. So they didn't post a trios match with the rest of the card. That came later, um, which is just it's funny to me. But it is Mika Iono, Koki Amare. Did I say that wrong again? I probably did.
I think it's
No, I said it
Amare.
right. Yeah, Amare. Okay. And
Yeah.
Chika Goto taking on Bozilla, Myla Grace, and Zeta Steel. So it is the home army versus the international crew. Um, I mean, Bozilla might get the win, but Miko Iono might just pin one of the blonde ladies. So
Yeah. Uh, I will be interested in how these trios matches in this company work. Like I was saying earlier, I'm excited to see what they kind of go with for this. Um, oh, you're gone. That's unfortunate. And you're back. Welcome back to the
yeah,
show,
sorry,
Alex, my friend.
I moved the laptop and it pulled the wire out, and I was like, oh god.
Lovely.
So yeah,
Um, but yeah, I'm interested in how this trios house style works.
yeah.
Should be good though. I'm I'm
I
I'm
wonder if
I'm
Chica
cautiously
gets.
optimistic.
I wonder if Chica gets some like I am big hope spots against Bozilla.
That would be really cool if because like Chikoto is very tall.
Yeah, she could.
And, like, they probably will, size up somewhat closely, not super
Hell
close.
yeah.
I think Bozo is still quite tall, like quite much taller than her. But I actually don't know for sure. It's possible that Chikugoto towers over her,
I
like
don't think she's
everybody
that
over the Big
tall.
Show.
Maybe.
Yeah, I know. But you know how like back in the day, like the Big Show's like, oh, he's the biggest man ever, and then they just like would constantly have people taller than him.
Yeah.
Like Shaq dwarfed him that one time. It's like, oh, this dude's small, relatively speaking. Um, yeah, I'm interested in this match. I
All
could
right.
see like I could see Chikagoto and Amari Koki winning off like a big move between the two of them and setting their sights on the tag titles.
Here's hoping. Our next match then is Sari taking on Victoria Yuzuki. Any Sari Mitch? Any Sari match is a blessing. She is on the Wrestler of the Year train. She's going to put Victoria Yuzuki through her paces and probably beat the shit out of her in the name of disrespecting Marigold. So I'm very into this. This is gonna be great.
Man, this could be really, really, really good. Like
Mm,
it could be like tremendous because I don't know. I've always said Sari's the best at applying pressure. She's one of the best wrestlers in the world at that. Um, and I think that's kind of, you know, what you want to see Yuzuki go through because she's such a good natural baby face that you want to see her have to like overcome that pressure. Obviously, she will inevitably lose, but I think her hope spots will be great. I think Sari's gonna beat the fuck out of her for real. Um, and I think, I like the story of Sari versus Marigold. Like I like
mm,
the you know you as a roster need to like step up to me,
yeah,
and I will put you in your place as the ace of the company. Um, I appreciate the story that they're doing, and I'm really excited for the match. Yeah, I mean, Sari hasn't had a match lower than I would recommend. Like, you know what I mean? Like I would recommend every Sari match I've seen this year.
yeah.
She's the only wrestler that's the case, right? Like
That's
she's
fair.
just absurd. Even like her weaker matches are still very good. Like, you know what I mean? It's fucked
Yeah,
up. So I expect a
she's
lot of
insane.
good things out of this.
All right. Our main event then. Pretty crazy match that they've held off on. Somehow this didn't happen before. It's a passion injection match, which is interesting. It's Nanae Takahashi versus Utami Hayashishita.
It's a
And
passion injection, but it has a 30-minute time limit. That's the main event.
yeah, I does Utami win? Because
I think she
no,
has to.
nobody has won a passion injection match yet. And
Correct.
I'm assuming if WWE is involved in the Sumo Hall show, they are not letting Io lose. So
Correct.
maybe Utami fails to beat Nanai and Io and has to like reclaim her spot.
Really rebuild herself.
Yeah,
Um,
I don't see why you would have her beat Nanai and then lose to Io. I don't think that helps anybody. Whereas if you
I
have her,
I no, I think that if they're doing the EO match, I think that the EO match is the thing you need to step up to. I think that's what they're doing. If I think Utami can beat Nanai and then lose to Io because Utami needs to beat Nanai to be able to face Io. Um, I think that Rossi holds Io in that regard. I think WWE holds Io in that regard. I think Utami holds that Io in that regard. Um, Nanai probably holds Io in that regard. If not, we're seeing a 30.
well,
Uh,
did Nanai not, drop the belt to avoid putting Io over?
that's where I'm at. That's where I'm kind of like standing. Is that it's like, well,
I don't know that
um,
for sure. I wasn't in the weeds of the fandom
near do
obviously
I.
back then, but
Yeah,
that's what it
I'm not
appears
gonna
to
pretend
be
like
on
I'm
the
fully
surface.
aware, but
So
yeah, like I don't know how. That's what I mean is that like Utami obviously holds EOS, respects her a ton. Rossi, all that. I don't know if Nanai is gonna be like, oh yeah, you can beat me and kill my whole gimmick for the sake of losing to Io Shirai.
yeah,
I don't know if she'll
I
let them do
agree.
that. That could
Uh,
be a problem.
so see,
But
that's why I switched. I thought Utami was winning, but when I saw passion injection, I thought, okay, you're not burning the passion injection on show number 4.
I really wish this wasn't the main event because they could easily go to a 15. Um,
Yeah. Maybe it
Nanai
wasn't meant
going
to
to
be,
30
but
is really hard.
Maybe Julia being off. force them into a
Yeah.
different spot. They could just go a half hour. Like, this is Nanae Takahashi we're talking about, and
And
Utami.
Nanae is in great shape, by the way. Like, since
Yes.
Marigold started up, she is like in absurd shape. Um,
Yeah, she's been on the Slimming World, you know? Yeah,
yeah, and she
that's
she yeah.
summer swing of everybody going Slimming World. Do you guys
Yeah,
have Slimming
she's
World?
got the no.
No?
I
Alright, yeah,
vaguely know what you're talking about.
yeah, it's like the big one here, like, everybody goes, and you have, like, sins in the food or something, and you have, like, less than 20. It's a
The
whole
fuck?
thing. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it's Sins or Sims. Oh, Slims, maybe that's it. Slims. I've never
Slims would
been.
make sense.
I've never been. I just, I know
Okay.
people who go. But anyway, yes, Nanai, I do think she deserves credit. She looks like in great shape. Um, and yeah,
Maybe
I
they
don't
go
know.
30. I might be the only person in this world that is like, hey,
I don't want
fuck it.
any
I mean,
30-minute wrestling matches, but I would accept it.
I trust Utami enough,
Yeah.
and Nanai's older, but I still probably trust her enough.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Like, uh, could be worse people to go 30.
Yeah.
And with a hot Korakuen crowd, I think they could really,
Can
make it
we?
work.
Are we just agreeing that Utami isn't winning?
No, I think that either
Oh,
Utami, I don't think Nanai beats her. Uh,
right. Well, I don't think
I think
Utami
that's
wins.
see, yeah, that's where we're on different uh
Yeah.
playing grounds. I'm leaning towards a draw.
I guess it
Um,
depends to me on the EO match. If EO is happening, Utami doesn't win. But if it's EO, if it's Utami Bozilla, Utami probably does win. But I don't see her losing to EO and beating Nanai. So,
maybe Nanai has gotten less political.
well,
That's not.
it's not
I'm
even
not even
that.
gonna.
I just don't see the extra value in it if you're gonna build Utami up just to have her lose to the outsider. When you could just have her lose and keep Nanai's where she is and keep the big win over Nanai for later.
But
Because
then
either way,
Utami goes into the EO match looking like a dork, and then she's
no,
gonna come out
she's
looking like an
Utami.
even bigger dork.
She's Utami. She's fine. I don't know,
I don't know.
but
Losing
obviously
those two in a row is difficult.
we're approaching it in two different aspects. Because I don't see a problem with somebody losing back to back big matches. If you then say, okay, I need to turn this around,
See,
and
I'm looking at it different in that I think Utami needs to get like this passion injection is to thrust her towards the EO match
well,
if
okay,
that's
but
happening.
does her and Io lose any luster if she loses? It is still Io Shirai. Io could literally
I
wrestle
don't
a rock
know,
on that show,
but
and it would be
yes,
insane. Like, it'd be
but
electric.
the problem is that like what is Utami's like perspective if she loses this match and then if she's like I'm going to drastic measures. I'm going to call out EO or whatever happens there. Again, this is all presuming that that's happening. I hope it is because at this point, if it doesn't, I don't know like
Well,
Utami
listen, if
Bozilla and
WWE and
I don't
TNA
know.
can work together, I don't see a
That's
reason
that's where I'm at. That's
Marigold
where I'm
can't.
at. Is that it's like
Yeah,
okay, if they're sending someone over for fucking yeah TNA, I imagine EO can take the month off and hang out in Japan.
yeah.
Like I don't think it's that big of a deal. Um,
So,
so that's why I'm basing off off the assumption that she's doing it. Um,
mhm.
I don't know. I think Utami can win here, can beat Nanai and be like, Nanai's one of the biggest, the biggest wrestlers that, the biggest mountains to climb, but she's not the biggest. The biggest is Io Shirai because that's always what Utami said. Is that her biggest hill, her biggest mountain, her biggest opponent, the biggest match she ever wanted was against Io Shirai. I think that her using a win over Nanai to thrust herself towards the Io match would make sense. Problem
Mhm.
is,
Yeah.
even if Io wasn't like a WWE protected entity, Utami is not winning her first match
No,
against Io.
not a
Like
chance. No.
there's like even if all of this was different and Io left WWE, came to Marigold and was there full time, she's still beating Utami the first match. Utami
Yeah.
said as much in interviews. She's like, "Oh, I'd probably completely crumble under the pressure if I wrestled against Io Shirai." Like she said that herself. So I don't know. It does ultimately come down to how Nanai feels about it. Um,
Yeah.
that's where I'm at. You know, I don't think
Well,
Nanai has a problem putting over Utami.
no.
Uh,
She did lose to
but
Suri and
yeah,
Mike, though.
I
I don't think she
like
has
not at all.
a
I
problem.
truly I truly think that Utami and Nanae are like cool, like
Yeah,
notably.
of course.
Um, so yeah, I don't think that's a problem, but I could see Nanae being like, I don't like the way you're doing this, Hat Man. I don't like the way you're setting this up. So we'll see. I'm really excited for this match. I'm super excited to see how this goes down. Because if EO is in the books, this match will probably be the prelude to it.
Mm-hmm. That video promo afterwards is gonna hit like crack.
Yeah, exactly. Um, or if Utami just says her name and it's like, what the fuck is this real? You know, what I mean, like it. That
Wonder
feels
if
like what's going to happen after this match.
I'm gonna be very upset if she calls her Io Sky. I cannot lie. That's my only
She probably will.
small thing that I dislike. I hate that name. It's
I
so
don't like it either. Like
unnecessary.
Genius of
Like,
the Sky, EO Sky. It's like, huh?
yeah, yeah, like Io Shirai is fine. I can understand adding the Y to Io.
Yeah,
Like
I
that's
actually agree
fine.
with that. Yeah,
But Shirai to Sky is just like it's very silly to me. But
I don't know
anyway,
why they did that.
I
Like
don't know
again,
either.
like EO to EO is fine, but Shirai is a cool name. I'm gonna be real,
Hmm.
and it's not hard to pronounce at all.
No,
Like,
I mean, listen, I know Americans have their weird problems. The WNBA has really unveiled some of that, but I don't think Shirai is that hard for Americans to get their head around. But you know what? Who's to say? Um, I think that's everything for this week.
yeah,
Busy week, and we didn't even get to watch some of the shows. But me, Dylan might not be here next week. I will
yeah,
definitely
we'll
be
see.
here. I'm aiming to record on the Tuesday, go straight from the Cork and into doing a show that will probably heavily focus on the Cork, and unless Stardom does something insane in Nagoya. Um, so if you're very interested in Marigold, next week's show is going to be the one to keep your ears on because there will be a review of the Cork in the day of. Um, and yeah, we'll talk about Stardom, of course. We're not gonna just drop Stardom, the Nagoya pay per view. We'll probably
Especially if
serve
the
up a cool match. Yeah.
especially if they have the Wingori FWC match, I will
Yeah,
devote time to that.
definitely. So yeah, we'll just we'll keep doing what we do and cover both promotions, and hopefully Dylan is here because it's a fun show
Yeah,
with Dylan.
man, I swear to
Anyway,
God, if I miss the show like, man, that's gonna suck ass.
yeah, that would be upsetting. Um, but anyway, I guess it's time to close the show.
Hmm.
Yeah. If you want to stand, you may stand. If you want to sit, you may sit. Believe today, shine tomorrow. You decide what you believe in.
Stay golden.
Ijo.
Ijo.